Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Anne and it is April, which means it is the Our Fantasy Book Bingo reflection. If you don't know what the Our Fantasy Book Bingo is, this is a year-long challenge that starts on the 1st of April all the way to March 31st of the next year. And it is a readathon, reading challenge that you can that's created to broaden your horizons on reading fantasy, sci-fi and horror speculative fiction. I've taken part in this challenge in 2023, which I failed, 2024, which I'm going to be wrapping up in this video, and I'm going to be also taking part in the 2025 challenge. So we are going to go through all the prompts from 2024 and show you all the books that I used to complete those prompts. So there is a few rules that are involved in this TBR, in this challenge. One, you can only use one book per prompt, so you can't double up on prompts or books for prompts. The second rule is you can only use one author within the book bingo squares, so you can't use the same author and different books for different prompts, if that makes sense. And the other rule is you're only allowed one reread, and I think that's it mainly. There are some, we've got regular mode, we've got hard mode, and then we also have hero mode. Regular mode is generally, as the prompt says, on the bingo board. Hard mode, you've got like an extra prompt that you need to fit that kind of narrows down the prompt and makes it a little bit harder to find books for them. And then hero mode is when you review every single book. I generally will hit hero mode because I review all the books that I read every single month. But we are just going to get straight into this. So here is the 2024 board, and as you can see, I have completely blocked it out. But so I got a whole black bingo board. So I've got my handy dandy notebook here with all of the prompts, all of the books that I used for those prompts. So the first prompt was first book in a series, and I used Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros to pick off this prompt. I read Rebecca Yarros for the first time last year, and I really enjoyed this one. 5-star read for me. Absolutely great. I'm only going to be flying through these because I don't want to spend an hour talking about all these books. The next one is alliterative title. So you have the words in the title that are the same letter. So I've got A Psalm of Storms and Silence, and I again really enjoyed this, loved it very much. It was just a great read. Then the next prompt was Under the Surface, and I used Hope and Lies to cover this one because in here our main character, some of our characters hide underground as like a secret little society hiding from the government that is going to possibly kill them. The next one is Criminals. So we've got Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is following Kaz Brekker and his group of criminals who all take part in heists and things like that. So they're definitely criminals. The next one is Dreams. So features dreams in some way, and I chose Dreams of Dead and Deities by Celia Rock. This has a lot of dreams in here, and it is in the title, so I definitely think that it clicks off, hits this prompt. Then we have Entitled Animals, and we have By the Orchid and the Owl. There's a lot of animals in here, a lot of talking animals in this one, and there is an owl in the title. So again, checks off that prompt. Then we have Bards. I struggled a little bit with this one because I wasn't sure if I was going to actually read A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, but I did read this one in February because my good friend Pashi chose it for me as my 12 books by 12 friends. And I really enjoyed it. The next one is Prologues and Epilogues, and I chose Bride to check off this one. A lot of the books that I read do generally have prologues and epilogues, but it was very easy for me to check this one off because it definitely has a prologue and it definitely has an epilogue. Very clearly checks that one off. Then we have self or indie published. I read a lot of indie published, so any of kind of the books that I read throughout the year could have been used to hit this prompt, but I chose The Sons of Echidna by Athena M. Bliss. This is a NZ indie author, and I just love this one, and Athena does all the artwork, all the printing and everything herself, so I definitely checks this prompt. And look at that. Stunning. Then we have a romantasy. Again, romantasy is one of my biggest genres that I read, but I used Quicksilver by Callie Hart to check this one off. really simple, really fun, and I really enjoyed it, and it's definitely one of the biggest romanticies of last year. Then we have Then we have Dark Academia, and I read The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrews. I didn't love this one as much as I expected, but it definitely has that Dark Academia vibe because we are set in a college and there is the occult sort of running through this book. Then we have multi-POV, we have Station 11. There is so many different perspectives within this one because we're following almost everyone who is alive in a sort of post-apocalyptic world. And it is very interesting. Lots of point of views, which could get a little bit confusing. A couple of different dual timelines as well. So it was a good time. I did enjoy it. Then we have published in 2024, and I picked Feybound by Sarah El-Arifi because I was so excited about this one. I could not wait to read this. It sounded like perfectly up my alley, and it really was. I gave this a 4-star, and I think upon reread I think it would probably get a 5-star. I really enjoyed it, and I'm very excited for Cursebound to come out this year. I think it's already out, actually. I think it might be already out. Then we have Character with a Disability, and I picked Tress of the Emerald Sea. There is a character in here with a disability. We have one who is deaf, from what I can remember. I did have to Google it to double check that it did fit the prompt because I read this so long ago, but it does. One of the side characters is deaf in here. Then we have published in the 1990s, and I picked 11/22/63. This is a chunky boy, and I'm so glad I finally read this. It took me so long to read, but I did have a great time with it. It's one of my favorite Stephen King books, and it did make me cry at the end, which I was very surprised by. But yeah, 11/22/63 fits this prompt. Then we have Orcs, Goblins, and Trolls, and I chose Cold Magic. This one, I was going to read Legends and Lattes, and I just didn't get to it. And then Trolls fell into this story somehow, which shocked me. And yeah, it fit the prompt at the end of March. So we got there by the skin of our teeth with this one. But yeah, there is goblins and trolls featured in here, which was very interesting, and I wasn't expecting it. So I'm very happy that I did pick this one up. It is featured in my Book Battle episode 2 vlog if you wanted to go check it out. Then we have space opera, and I chose Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. This again was in my Book Battle vlog episode 2, so we just got this as well in March. So by the skin of our teeth with this one again. This is such a fun time. It is definitely a cozy sci-fi, I would say, and I just loved it. The found family vibes in here is great, and yeah, it was a fun time. Then we have Author of Color, and I chose That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. As you can see, I have quite a few different authors of colour on this list, but I decided to pick that one because Kimberly Lemming is an author of colour, and I had a fun time with it, and that one is featured in my Brie vlog if you want to check that out, because I did read and review it in that vlog, so it'll be up above there. Then we have Survival, which is Project Hail Mary. I used Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir to check off this prompt. We're following a main character who is sent up to space to kind of get to save the world. And he has to survive there up on his own. It was fine. I found it to be very technical and very sciencey, and I don't really have the brain for that, but it was still a good time, and I think I gave it a 3-star, I think. Then we have Judge a Book by its cover, and I chose Phantasma. I was seeing this everywhere. I'd seen all my friends talking about it, but I didn't really know what it was about. But this cover drew me in, and I just had to pick it up. It is absolutely stunning. Loved it. Dark fantasy romance. Deadly Trials. It was a great time. 5 stars for me, and I read this in January of this year. Then we have Set in a Small Town, and I chose Love Letters and Thirst Tonics for this one. This is set in a small little town full of vampires and goblins and orcs and all that kind of thing, and it's set in a very small town, so everyone knows everyone, and it was just a fun little cozy time where 2 vampires come together and kind of fall in love. which was great. Then we have short stories. So we have to read 5 short stories. And to be fair, I didn't actually read short story collection. I did have The Paper Menagerie on my list to read, but I still haven't read it, and it's been on my shelf for years, so I just really need to get to it at some point. But I did read 5 individual short stories throughout the year. So we have Crane Fly by Kelly Marie Pollock. We have Time Traveler's Limbo. We had Binti, Mr. Giggles, the interdimensional love clown. And we had Once We Flew by Nikki Lee. So quite a few different books in there. They were all fantasy and sci-fi based, so they were great, and I did enjoy all of those. Then we have Eldritch Creatures, and I read It by Stephen King. So another Stephen King on this list and another chunky boy on this list. Finally read it, and it is featured in my Boyfriend Picks My TBR vlog. So if you want to check that out, check it out. Reference materials, I chose The Bone Season, another one that I just read in March, but a lot of the books that I do read have reference materials, so it's not that hard to pick one to just go with this prompt. But a lot of the other books I did choose for different prompts. But as you can see, we've got reference materials here with maps and a glossary at the back, I'm pretty sure. Yes, we have a glossary at the back, and people of interest that kind of breaks down everyone within the story. This is a great one. I really, really loved it. It is a sci-fi dystopian fantasy story. It's very mixed genre, great fun, and definitely worth the read if you haven't checked it out. And the last one is a book club or read-along book. So they have a list of all of the books that they read in their book club or read along, and hard mode is basically take part in one of the read alongs, but I didn't do that. I just went through the list, found one that was on my shelves and picked it up, and that was Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I listened to this on audio. It was a fun time. Definitely a lot darker than I thought it was going to be for a YA, but I still had quite a good time. And as you can see, that is my completed 2024 book bingo board. Don't come down in the comments below and tell me if some of these books don't fit the prompts. It's already done. I'm not changing my mind. I think they fit the prompts, so that's where we're going with this one. So that is my 2024 bingo board. That was my 2024 Our Fantasy Bingo wrap up. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be taking part in Our Fantasy. Let me know in the comments below if you've already ticked off some of these prompts. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I'm going to go and get a drink because I'm tired of talking. Goodbye.